We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Buddha. Good evening, friends. Let us begin with a thought. Not just any thought, but perhaps the most perilous one you will ever allow to take root in your mind. It sits quiet, subtle, almost invisible, and yet it destroys more lives than disease or poverty ever could. It is the thought that says, I am not enough. Now, you may not say it aloud. You may not even realize you believe it. But it hides in the corners of your mind. In the decisions you delay, the chances you avoid, the apologies you keep rehearsing. This thought, this belief, is the silent architect of a small life. It is the most dangerous thought a human being can have. Because when a man begins to believe he is not enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough, not lucky enough, he builds a prison with invisible bricks, he shuts the door himself, and then throws away the key. And the saddest part is, he doesn't even know he's inside. Now think of the millions of people walking, working, speaking, each with a fire smoldering beneath the surface, yet never striking the match. Why? Because somewhere long ago someone or something convinced them that their light was meant to shine. Friends, a man becomes what he believes. The world responds not to what he hopes for, but to what he expects of himself. If he believes he is inadequate, he will act in ways that prove it. He will sabotage opportunities. He will cling to comfort. And slowly, quietly, he will shrink into the shadows of his own doubt. And the world will let him. You see, life does not argue with you. It reflects you. Though when you whisper, I can sit. Life says, as you wish. When you think, it sets too late. Life nods, then let it be. This is not philosophy. It is fact. The human mind is the most powerful force in your life. And yet it is also the most dangerous when left unguarded. You were not born to play small. You were not placed on this earth to live in quiet fear. You are the product of centuries of progress, pain, growth, and triumph. Your very existence is rare, but your belief in yourself, that is a choice. And here says the truth that most people never hear. There is no external enemy greater than your own internal doubt. No critic, no failure, no rejection can harm you until you believe it. You may lose money. You may lose time. You may even lose people. But if you lose faith in yourself, you lose everything. So guard your mind. Like a farmer watches the soil. Tend to it. Pull out the weeds. Plant only what will nourish you. Because your thoughts today are your life tomorrow. And remember, the most dangerous thought isn't hate or anger or fear. It sets the quiet belief that you don't set matter, that you can set, that you once did, that others were meant for more, but not you. That lie has ruined dreams, stolen potential, and buried genius. And it must be destroyed, not with noise, not with ego, but with one quiet decision, a decision that only you can make. You say, but Earl, I said failed before. Yes, so has every great man. Failure does not define you. Your interpretation of it does. You say, but I set not as good as others. Comparison is a thief. Friend, it steals your peace and offers nothing in return. No one has your mind, your life, your voice. So live yours. And you say, but I don't set nowhere to start. You start here, with the next thought, because that sets where your power begins. A man is not shaped by the world. He is shaped by what he thinks about the world. And the most successful people, not the luckiest, nor the smartest, but the ones who refuse to believe that they are anything less than capable. So tonight I shall ask you not to try harder, not to move faster, not to become someone new, but to stop believing the lie that you were ever less than enough. You have right now all that is required. You have a mind, you have a voice, and you have a choice. The most dangerous thought a man can have is the one that tells him not to try. The most powerful thought he can choose is the one that says, "This is mine to shape." You see, your mind is like a field. It does not care what you plant. Seeds of doubt or seeds of confidence. It will return what you sow. Plant negativity, and you will harvest hesitation. Plant worry, and you will reap anxiety. But plant belief, real belief, and you'll find that the world starts to move in your favor, not by magic, not overnight, but steadily, quietly, and then suddenly. The great tragedy is that most people never test this truth. They live cautiously, waiting for a sign, waiting for approval, waiting for life to tell them, "You set ready." But life never does, because life is a mirror, not a teacher, not a parent, not a boss. It reflects what you show it. When you walk toward it with strength, it reflects strength. When you hide from it in fear, it reflects fear. So the real work of growth, of progress, is not out there in the world. It's in here, in the silence between your ears. It begins when you confront the thought that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" And you answer, calmly, "Someone who will try anyway." That answer changes everything. It changes how you walk into a room, how you greet the day, how you respond to setbacks, how you treat yourself. Friends, no one can outrun their own thinking. You can change jobs, move cities, change relationships. But if you bring the same thoughts with you, you'll recreate the same life, again and again. You so wonder why nothing feels different, why every door feels locked, why success seems to belong to someone else. And it will all trace back to one tiny, quiet, dangerous thought. "I am not enough." But I will tell you what sets even more dangerous than that. Living your whole life as if that thought were true. There are people, millions of them, who have lived entire decades in the shadow of a lie. They never write the book, never take the trip, never ask the question, never raise their hand. Not because they couldn't set, but because they believe they couldn't set. And what a waste that is, not just of talent, but of time, of spirit, of life. You are given this life to grow, to create, to rise, to contribute, and every day you spend doubting your worth is a day lost to fear. Now I know this isn't always easy. We live in a world that profits from your insecurity. You are constantly told you're not rich enough, not young enough, not good-looking enough, not successful enough. And over time, if you are not careful, you start to believe it. But here's a truth. The world will not sell you. You are already enough to begin, to act, to move, to become. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You need a decision. A decision to trust your potential more than your past. To believe in the power of effort more than the comfort of excuses. You see, doubt will always be there. Even the greatest minds feel it. But the difference, the only difference, is what they do with that doubt. Weak men obey it. Strong men observe it and move anyway. So tonight, friend, I shall leave you with this. You will never rise above the ceiling you place on your own mind. But the moment you question that ceiling, the moment you say, "What if I happen wrong about my limits?" that is the moment your real life begins. And it begins, always, with a thought. So choose wisely, because the most dangerous thought you can have is not the one that says the world is against you. It's such the one that says you are against yourself. Let's bring this reflection to its close. You know, we often speak of enemies in life, of obstacles, of the odds stacked against us. But rarely do we turn inward and ask, what part of me is standing in my own way? And if we are honest, brutally, quietly, honest, we find that the enemy is not out there. It is not the boss, the economy, the critics, or the competition. It is the quiet voice that says, you stir not ready. You stir not good enough. You settle embarrass yourself. That voice will sound like logic. It will wear the mask of realism. It will convince you it sets keeping you safe. But what it sets really doing is keeping you small. And your job, the most important job you have, is to recognize that voice and refuse to obey it. Every great man you have admired, every success story you have heard, began the same way. Not with brilliance, not with luck, but with the courage to act even when they didn't feel worthy. They looked that thought in the eye, was scary, and they moved anyway. And you can too, because your mind is your compass. But you must set the direction. If you point it toward fear, you still find more fear. If you point it toward faith, you still find new strength. So let me ask you, plainly, what thoughts are you choosing? Not what you stir feeling, but what you are choosing. Because thought is not just a reflex. It is a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. You can train your mind, just as you would train a muscle. And what begins as effort becomes instinct. The man who wakes each day and says, I have what it takes, is not lying to himself. He is leading himself. And soon, the world begins to follow. The people who do the impossible are not different from you. They simply stopped believing that the possible was out of reach. They stopped asking, am I enough? And started saying, I shall become enough through action. They replaced doubt with direction, fear with discipline, excuses with effort. And you can do the same, starting now. Because the truth, my friend, is this. You are one thought away from an entirely different life. That thought is not out there. It is not waiting for approval or evidence or certainty. It is waiting for you. Choose it. Repeat it. Live it. Because the most dangerous thought is the one that says you can set. But the most powerful thought is the one that says, watch me. Good night, friends.